Hello, creative heroines. I actually just tried to record this a couple of minutes ago and it said my connection was weak, which is very interesting. But we are going to try it again. And for those of you who might be watching for the first time, my name is Michelle Gelati, and I'm so happy to welcome you to this space where we talk about everything having to do with consciousness and creativity and leadership and creating the brand that we know ourselves to be. So today, and by the way, if you are hopping on, let me know if for some reason the connection goes in and out, because I'll have to take it outside. Again, I wanted to sit in this space. I wanted to share with you from the comfort of my office, but if for some reason it's having issues, I will move outside. That's not a big deal. So yes, in this space, if you are listening for the first time, welcome. Again, we talk about everything having to do with, creativity and consciousness and creating the brand of woman who you know yourself to be. In other words, we talk about being the mother of our own reinvention. So today specifically, I wanted to chat with you about being the engine or being the innovator, being the creator of not just your life, but of your business, and also being the engine, the creator, the innovator that is also helping other people. When we think of creating a movement, when we talk about helping the world, helping people within your community, helping people outside of your community to truly be that in their own lives as well, to truly be that reinventor, to be the mother of her own reinvention or the father of his own reinvention. It is so much about really looking inside and deciding, well, what is it? What is the true work that I get to do in my life within my sort of internal system that will give me what I want? In other words, that will show me externally the very things that I so want to have in my life. So today I wanted to talk about the two things, just as the subject line said, two things that we must, as creators, as innovators, as women sort of leading our reinvention, and again, hopefully leading it for a lot of other people as well. And again, let me just say before I continue that, if you've gotten clear that this is you, then this video is definitely for you. My husband and I were talking a couple of days ago about how there are just naturally in our lives, there are some people who are natural sort of engines. They might have the idea, and they are literally the engine, the person who sort of births the thing. So they might not only have the spark of an idea, but they literally, mobilize people to, inspire people, spark people, mobilize people to sort of get on board and do this thing. And so if you've gotten really clear that that's you, or that you inspire to sort of nurture that part of yourself more, then, what I'm about to share is really, really important. The two things that we need to and get to, really, because it's from that space, that energy of, I get to do this in order to have an amazing life. I get to do this in order to have amazing relationships. I get to do this in order to create the expression of a business, the expression of really the brand of woman that I am, and the expression of this movement that I'm growing in the world. I get to do the following two things, and those are feeling and healing. So for anyone who is wanting to create something that is larger than themselves, we first have to look at ourselves, meaning, inside, and decide, well, what is it that I'm not currently feeling or feeling enough of? In other words, there are a lot of times in life where we want to push down certain feelings that we don't want to. Well, we just don't want to feel them. I talk a lot about on my live streams and in my writing about discomfort. and how it is a natural part of life, and how at every point when we are looking to create larger and larger, or step into larger and larger goals and land inside of our larger, the largest and largest dream that we have, we are going to be uncomfortable. And so it's during, those moments that we can say yes to feeling the discomfort, and getting sort of, I don't mean to say sort of get so comfortable with discomfort, but actually maybe it is exactly that. It's really getting honest with ourselves that we need to feel everything that is happening in our lives, versus saying, I will handle that later. I will put that in this closet. I will hide that in another closet, tomorrow, next week, next month. I will feel that. I will feel that grief later. I will feel that, that particular sort of, whether, a rift between a friendship, I will feel that later. I will deal with that later. And what we're really being called to do, especially in this day and age, is to feel exactly what it is that we are feeling, and to actually, especially if you are leading other people in a movement, if you are leading other people in creating better lives for themselves, we have to feel our discomfort and sit in it. There's a healer and a teacher that I work with, and the way that he's actually supported me over the last 5 or 6 years is to do exactly that, where his sessions are literally moments and opportunities for me to sit in whatever feeling that I am genuinely experiencing at the moment. So I might feel it, let's say 30%, right? And when I'm doing a session with him, what he has me do, and it's sort of a meditative sort of healing session, where he says to me, okay, we talk about what I'm feeling, or he sort of pulls up different memories and different experiences that have happened to me in my life. And he will say to me, okay, I want you to feel that feeling to its highest degree. Close your eyes, and I'm going to walk you through it. And he essentially sort of does a guided sort of visualization where I am given the opportunity to be uncomfortable, not to push it aside, but to actually bring up the most, sort of turn up the volume of that uncomfortable feeling, so that then I can hopefully move past it. Now, that particular process, and it doesn't have to be exactly that process for everyone, but that is one example of how we get to heal. Again, the more that we feel, the more that we become aware of, the more that we commit to healing. Now, when we feel and when we heal, and when we're constantly in this cycle of feeling and healing it, feeling and healing it, feeling and healing it, that is when we're truly expressing our leadership. That is when we're expressing, what it is that we are so committed to doing in our lives, so that then we can turn around and, help other people, really sort of, bring other people along and help other people transform their lives, transform their internal environments, etc., etc. So feeling and healing, and here's the thing, that what happens, in this cycle of us being able to, or getting to feel and heal, feel and heal, feel and heal, is that cycle is broken for a lot of us. There's not many of us who actually say to ourselves, all right, I'm in for the discomfort. I am going to feel this thing to its most, to a higher degree, so that I can realize, that once I actually, instead of pushing it aside, once I actually allow that feeling to come up, to let it, get my heart beating faster, to make that pit of your stomach potentially sort of, increase as well, sort of the discomfort in that space to increase as well. We normally find that it actually starts to dissipate, meaning that feeling that we were so afraid to feel actually starts to go away little by little by little. And what's amazing is that, like I said, in our daily lives, and I think I did a live stream on this a day or so ago, where in our daily lives, we're not we're breaking that cycle. We do not want to feel. We say that we're going to do that later. And so what happens is that we're not giving ourselves the opportunity to actually heal from that daily, that particular day's mishap, from that particular day's conversation that hurt or that didn't feel so good. And so we're really being asked to be uncomfortable, as leaders, and most definitely as the CEOs of our businesses and as creatives and as innovators, that is actually the very place where creation energy begins, is in that space of having felt it more deeply. In other words, having moved through a particular discomfort and then having healed it. Now, it doesn't always, of course, heal just by feeling it. So I definitely want to say that feeling step is one part of the cycle. Now, the second part of the cycle, and it depends on, is this something just in your life that on a Friday afternoon just made you feel slightly uncomfortable, but isn't sort of a huge problem or a huge discomfort. A lot of times, actually, that feeling exercise will allow you to move beyond it, or in other words, to heal that particular pain or the emotions around that conversation that you maybe didn't enjoy that much, or a particular business thing that didn't go as planned, etc. And there are a lot of other things that still, of course, we benefit from feeling something more deeply, allowing it to be expressed versus pushing it down. And so yes, the daily sort of rifts, the daily sort of discomforts, we can potentially heal by just feeling it. Now, there are other things where we might need to do more healing work. And there are so many ways to do healing work. There's, everything from therapy to, sort of energetic healing work, which I do a lot of. There is breath work, pranayama, when we think of sort of the yogic side of things, which I love. And I could go on and on and on. So what we are being invited, to do is to make sure that we have, that colorful space within. Again, we want to be clearing the slate. We want to be in this cycle of feeling and healing. And so we are being asked to find out, well, is this a moment? Is this something that I can just feel to sort of move through it and I'm good? Or is this something that I get to do deeper work around to heal? Because that is where creativity, your creativity lies. That is where leadership lies. Because, you could, again, and I know I've shared this in other ways, for example, through my writing or in other live streams, where we could have the best business model, we could have the best programs, we could be, as entrepreneurs, we could be so excited by hustling and doing the work and the blood, sweat, and tears that comes with producing something, whether it's a new project, whether it's growing a business from here to there, whatever it is. We could be fine with this sort of external energy, the external sort of energy and expression of what that looks like and what that means. And the thing that makes all the difference is us nurturing that internal energy. If you and I have the internal energy it takes to actually move a movement forward, to move a business forward, to really, again, to be the engine, to be the motor, to land inside of our biggest goals, we've done something amazing. Again, the physical part, again, the hustling that we do as entrepreneurs, the late nights, whatever it is that, sort of the season of entrepreneurship that you're in, and no matter what season, whether, again, I'm 16 years in business, whether you're 1 year in, 1 month in, or 20 years in, at every level that we're saying we want more, we get to do more. I've now landed here and I want to go here. There's always going to be this space of sort of this unknown. And so likely there's going to be discomfort. Likely, there is going to be this period where we are having to, or where we get to put in a lot more physical effort to create, to step inside these goals, right? And I'm sure all of us can sort of attest to that. And maybe you're there right now. And the most important part is creating from that place of an internal system, sort of this internal operating system that is more and more clear. Again, can we and are we going to clear all the cobwebs? Probably not every single one, but we can absolutely get our system and create an internal environment that says, oh yeah, in addition to that external energy and work that you're willing to do on this business, on this movement, in your family, in these relationships, coupled with this internal energy now that you have, this vibrancy that can't be matched, this passion that you can sort of touch now, that you can really, really touch, this purpose that is just so palpable. When you combine those two things, the external and physical effort that you're totally good with, with doing and with putting forth to create this amazing expression of a business or of a life, then again, it so behooves us to do the more sort of emotional work. Truly, I think when you hear the words emotional intelligence, I've always loved those two words, because that's exactly what we're talking about. We are talking not about, intellectualizing business and a great, successful life, and when I say that, I mean having relationships that you really feed us, being on purpose, doing things in our life and outside of our families that really bring us joy, that it's really about this intelligence, taking it from the head and bringing it more into other places where we can truly make the change that we want to make. So as you are thinking, this weekend, around what you get to do on Monday, or even what you get to do this weekend, really start to get clear. And maybe it's listing out, what are the different emotions that you felt this week, but that you maybe pushed aside and you said, I'll deal with that some other time. So jot down all the emotions, jot down all the feelings that you can maybe sit with. You can close your eyes and you can sort of bring them to the surface, more of the surface, so that you can start to realize, oh wow, when I do this, when I actually sit with the feeling versus trying to ignore the feeling, I can actually start to feel like, hey, I can move past this. And then maybe make another list to the right of that, potentially, where you are writing down sort of deeper emotions, deeper experiences, experiences from maybe long ago that you can absolutely also have a real effect on right now. So what are those experiences that you might need to heal now? Things where you're realizing on the spiral staircase of life, where, again, on this staircase, we will sort of find ourselves faced with a very similar problem. It may be not the same one or a similar emotion. But the great thing is that we are higher up on that staircase. We can bring a new element of the woman that we are today to this particular thing. It's a very similar situation where, we get to, as we are moving forward in our lives, we get to, realize that, there are certain things that will continue to find us, and that the reason that it continues to find us is because we haven't fully healed. We haven't fully felt, and we haven't fully healed. So just, think of those two things, write down, do sort of a journal exercise with yourself if that feels good. And, remember that feeling and healing is the very space where creation and creation energy take place. And it's also the seat of your leadership. It is very, it's very difficult to lead a group, to lead a room, to grow a business when we aren't actually going to to sort of the heart and soul of what it is that is potentially keeping us, from that forward movement. So with that, I hope you have an amazing weekend. I will be checking in probably very soon. As always, enjoy your business and enjoy your life. Bye, Creative Heroines.